Okay.
Hello, everybody. I am here with our lovely client success story. This one is going to be really, really juicy. You know me, I love all the juicy, juicy details. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to come on. Let me know if you're watching the live or the replay. But today we have actually two success stories. I'm just working overtime this weekend for everybody. We have one now and we'll have one a little bit later around 2 p.m. But this lovely client of ours has had a lot of really incredible wins. She's currently in our Manifestation Mastery membership. And she has just been like pumping out wins like left, right, and center. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and I'm gonna let her kind of like give you guys a little bit of an understanding of where she was and what kind of inspired her to come into, a form of coaching and help. And we'll kind of go from there, and we'll talk about all of her wins and everything like that. She has some really incredible things that she's accomplished. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we're just going to dive right in. And if you guys have questions, drop them down in the chat. I'll pick the best ones out to ask her, and we're going to just have a vibe, and we're going to have a fun time together. So I will turn it over to you, my love. Please do give us a little intro about you and where you were and what kind of inspired you to take that leap of getting assistance, I'll say, help.
Yeah. Hi. Oh my gosh. First of all, I'm so grateful to be here. I love Persis and all of her teachings. And Persis is just a queen. But anyways, I'm MC. I go by my initials.
Yes.
So when I was a kid, most of my success has been in the health realm. I've had a lot of other, wins and things, but I'll probably focus on the health aspect
yes,
today.
Of course.
So when I was a kid, I had gotten encephalitis, which is like a brain infection.
Yes.
And I would be in and out of the doctor's office as a kid. And a doctor diagnosed me with epilepsy, along with my brother and my cousin. So we believed that it was genetic, as anyone would, and so when I was 16, if you have epilepsy, you're not permitted to drive most of the time unless you are fully under control by a doctor, like on medication, and permitted by a doctor. So when I was a teenager, all of my friends were getting their driver's license, and it was like the most painful thing ever for me.
Yeah.
I just felt like, my friends would like pull up and pick me up and, be really excited to drive around, and it really made me sad because I'm like, I can't relate to that,
And it goes to show how much we take these simple things in life for granted. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
When we have full reign to, but then there are other people that like just even the simple act of like getting their license is something that they're technically like not allowed to do. And so it's like, it sucks to see other people kind of like maybe going ahead or doing certain things and knowing that you have some type of restriction that's preventing you from honestly just doing like what I would deem to be like basic tasks. Like the ability to take yourself around and to move around, even to do simple things like to go to a grocery store, to go to, whatever, any store, the mall, you know what I mean? To go and get a coffee. Like Imagine having to
Right.
be completely and totally codependent when all your other friends or family members or whoever, you know what I mean, doesn't have
Yeah.
these types of restrictions. It feels very like demeaning. It feels
Yeah.
not good.
Absolutely. And so that was something that I really, really struggled with when I was
Yeah.
in high school. I had developed this intense frustration and anger
Yeah.
towards not only this diagnosis that I had been dealing with since, like, you know, when I was a kid, but, and just even, you know, moving into college, like, I think in general, there's a level of independence you gain with your driver's license, like you said, you know?
Yeah, you do.
And so, you know, it really affected me the most in high school. But when I got to college, I kind of found this new kind of independence because I went to school in Chicago.
Okay.
So I could kind of take the train, and I didn't really need to, like, I was Ubering everywhere to
I love
get
it.
places, or my parents would drive me, which,
Yeah.
you know, monetarily wasn't ideal.
Pardon me. Yeah, of course.
And so, yeah, when I was in college, I kind of embraced this newfound independence of taking the train, and like this is a form of independence, you know?
Right.
And kind of finding a more positive outlook on it.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned to release that anger because it wasn't benefiting me.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't helping, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't remember what year I discovered your videos. I think, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe like 2021 or something like that.
Probably 2022. I think I started in
maybe,
2022,
yeah.
and you've been
Maybe
like
that's-
from day one. You've been there, you know, and you've seen me grow and evolve. Also, like you've seen baby Persis like flourish.
Yeah, no, literally. So I saw your videos on TikTok, and I immediately became obsessed. I am like seriously such a big fan. I already tell all my friends about you, so all my friends know about you.
I love it.
I haven't even met you in person, but like you have changed my life.
Are you like close by? Like we should meet sometime. You know, I'm doing a live event.
I know you are. I'm in Illinois, but I want to go.
Listen, we can find a train or a plane that will transport you to here, because I feel like we just have to like meet in person. We just have to.
Yes.
It's a requirement.
Oh my God. I would die. Yes. I'm so down.
I love it. Okay. Sorry, my intrusive thoughts are running wild, guys. I'm going to let her talk. I'm going to shut up.
No, you're perfect. But so I discovered Persis, and before that, so my dad is really into meditation. He got me into meditation and like law of attraction.
Love it.
And so I was listening to like Abraham Hicks.
Love it.
And doing a lot of meditations every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I kind of got into that during COVID because there was nothing else to do.
Right. Which is when I started my page. Because everybody's like at home. And I was just like, let me just give this TikTok thing a try. That was the time where everyone was dancing and not really like, it wasn't really an education app. I feel like I just use this to be like everyone's teacher.
No, it's perfect. That's like my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I discovered Persis's TikToks, and honestly, for a while, I kind of just was studying them. Like, I think the first package I got with you was the self-concept one, because you were like, this is the foundation.
Yeah.
If you want to get anything, you need like 10 out of 10 self-concept.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, I need that, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And at the time, I was going through a rocky relationship as well. And that was really affecting my confidence. So, but yeah, anyways, so I kind of dove into your course in your teachings.
Yeah.
And meditation was probably what I would do the most, and kind of still what I do the most. I do a lot of visualizing. And so in regards to my epilepsy, you know, it had been a lifelong dream of mine.
Right.
Bucket list item to get my driver's license. Like,
love that.
And my whole life I had been in and out of doctor's offices, like changing doctors, changing medications, going through all these trials and tribulations to get medically permitted to drive, you know. And my brother had gotten permitted to drive. My cousin never really even had an issue with getting his driver's license.
Got it.
I just was like so frustrated, and I felt like I didn't have anyone I could relate to. No one could understand.
Yeah.
No one I knew had dealt with this. So it was really like mentally frustrating. So I would envision during my meditations, me driving and driving alone.
Yeah.
And I did EFT tapping. Okay. And let me tell you, EFT tapping has quite literally, I think that is
I keep telling people, it's the secret sauce. You need to be...
It really is. I underestimated it. Listen, I underestimated the hell out of it. Excuse my language.
The problem is that so many people, they'll try things. I just want to chime in for 2 seconds because I want people to sell themselves out. In the comments for people that do this. Has anybody ever tried any technique, EFT or something else, or manifestation in general, and been like, I'm gonna try this, but you're doing it from a skeptical place and almost from this place of this technique or this process has to prove itself to me that it works before I believe that it works. Versus even if you go in with a full belief that there are definitely so many people that attribute this to being the secret sauce, the key to their manifestations, the key to nervous system regulation, the key to subconscious reprogramming, whatever word you want to put on it. If you go in with that, understanding, and if you go in with that type of situation, not where, I'm skeptical, I'm not sure it works, or trying it and then just declaring, it doesn't work. I didn't experience any type of a shift. Like when we go to the gym one time for 30 minutes, does that change our whole life? Or do we keep going to the gym for 30 minutes or 1 hour? And so I think there are so many people that sometimes get caught in the whole, I want this technique to prove itself to me or work on the first try in order for me to fully believe in its power or its potency. Or I'm just going to be a skeptic maybe even and do it 10 times or 100 times, but I'm not going to really believe that it works. And so remember that even the energy in which you do techniques matters. It matters tremendously, because if you go into a technique with full belief that this is going to change your life, it's going to. It's going to be that secret sauce. But if you go in guarded, skeptical, I tried it, but it doesn't really work. It's like, I wonder what your beliefs were when you were trying it. Because I'm willing to bet money that it was not good, And so I think people don't really think about the intricacies of applying certain techniques. So many people need immediate external validation in order to believe in things. And that is the thing that you will probably become more frustrated than ever on this face of the planet, because nothing and no one is going to prove itself to you before you also meet it halfway. It's just not going to happen. Like, you will be frustrated because you will see things in your reality where other people are using the same techniques you tried and it didn't work for you. How many people know someone that's a success story of any kind and they used techniques that you used and it didn't work for you? It just didn't work. And you're like, I tried that. It doesn't work. No. Let's back this tractor trailer up here. It works. It just did not work for you. So the common denominator here is you, not the thing. The technique does not have low self-concept. And that's going to be a very jarring thing for some people to hear. These techniques don't have low self-concept, guys. They don't. They are very self-secure in themselves. These techniques know that they're a 10 out of 10. They don't need you to know that they're a 10 out of 10. And so if you're doing things from that energy, this is just your gentle, friendly reminder that the energy in which you do things matters. Because all the people that are in our programs, we didn't invent some supersonic top secret technique. She knows the techniques that we've done, and she had done them before joining us. It was just in the manner that she did it. Because my father always says this, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you because I feel like I'm just going on a rant. But
no, that's okay.
I love one of the sayings my father says, which is that, there's a difference between doing something and doing it correctly. And so many people are either falling into one of two categories. They're not working on the right thing, the right limiting beliefs, or they're not doing their techniques correctly. And in either instance, it will completely, if you were to imagine a pipe, block and clog the flow in that pipe. Because those two things are probably the most crippling things that will leave you resultless infinitely. Because if you're not working on the right thing, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine you're trying to build a house, but you're doing it out of cardboard. You're never going to be able to really get to the full house, or you're doing it out of construction paper. Like, you can keep working at it for 100 years and it's just not going to end up working. You know what I mean? Or if you're trying to build a house and you have all the correct materials, but you just don't know how to build a house, you're not doing it correctly. And so those are the two things that trip people up 100% of the time. Like, everybody falls into one or the other category. If you guys are open to share, I'd love to know which one you think you are. But I'm going to turn it back over to you, my lovely lady, because I love this conversation already. I really think, I'm so passionate about that, because there are so many people that, they're in a scenario where they almost want their reality to kind of prove that it works. And that's the first way to fail.
Right. Absolutely. And I will admit, that was me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in regards to my health. You
yeah.
know? Because I had dealt with the same results my whole life.
Yeah.
And to transform that, it takes work, it's not
does.
For me, I think the thing is I was very, very consistent, and I still am, and I even have upped the ante even more so. But in regards to my license,
yes.
Yeah, well, so EFT tapping, you taught in your course EFT tapping.
I did.
And I had already been meditating since 2020, every morning for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And before bed.
Love it.
And so meditation was already a huge game changer in my life.
Yeah.
And my dad also talked about EFT tapping before. So my dad.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah,
Dad really knows
honestly.
his things. I love it.
Yeah. So he had talked about it before, but you had really, really fully introduced me to it.
Yeah. Me and Dad were tag teaming a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
We were texting each other in a private group chat that just didn't have you in it.
That's perfect.
Love it.
So I did a deep dive on EFT tapping. I read up on the history of it. Every lunch break, at work, I would go into this like private room, read a ton about EFT tapping, do a bunch of EFT tapping sessions. Like I went like fully into EFT tapping. And that's why I feel so passionate about EFT tapping. It's because I think it's underestimated, and I know because I underestimated it.
Yeah.
But that's also something that works for me.
Yeah.
Like in your course, you know, you kind of talked about, it's like a science experiment. You kind of try these techniques and you see what you like and, you know, all of that. And I tried all of them. I tried everything, and it just, EFT tapping is just my baby. I love it. But anyways, sorry, I'm kind of going on a
No,
tangent.
it's okay.
But yeah, so I would visualize me driving.
Okay.
I got a new neurologist.
Okay.
And I went to my neurologist appointment, and she put me on this new medication.
Right.
And I had been like having iffy like reactions to past medications. Also, a lot of epilepsy medications, they would always tell me like they can potentially make women infertile. And so I would have to be weaned off of things and like, put on a new one. It was just a whole mess.
It was a whole process.
And so I got on this new medication, and, you know, I'm like already implementing these affirmations into my routine. Like, okay, like everything is going to work. Like everything is going to work out for me. Like this is going to be easy. You know, I have a new doctor, like everything is going to work out for me. And I forgot to mention, I had been doing affirmations as well. But so just doing my normal routine, wake up, meditate for 30 minutes, affirmations, EFT tapping. I EFT tap like 3 times a day. I talk to myself all day long.
And we have like a full routine in these programs also, that like we will sculpt a routine and structure of like what's the best sequence to go about to shift these beliefs. And so I love that, you know, there's a lot of different resources in this, so you're not just shooting blind, you know, because I do think creating beliefs is something that has to be very methodical. And I don't mean to try to make it like this controlled process, but the way that we get results super fast is we kind of have the process of forming a belief down to a science. And there are very specific steps and procedures that you go through to form a belief, from the beginning of it to the middle of it to when there's like opposite evidence to like what to do to permanently and passively maintain these results, and like a lot more. And so like affirmations is obviously going to be something that, you know, she's up to. And when she, you know, has been diagnosed with epilepsy and stuff like that, like, you know, it becomes important to create affirmations that work for her and her health goals. Because her health goal was really like to become seizure free and to be able to get, you know, her doctor to approve her to get the driving test, and for her to, you know, take the test and to pass it. And so it's like there were very specific goals. Like she knew what she wanted out of her health goals and those situations. And we know that self-concept is the basis of everything. If you're not working on self-concept, I don't even know what you're doing, because you need self-concept. That's the foundation and the basis to be able to achieve anything. Whether it's love, whether it's health, whether it's money, whether it's business, whether it's clients, whether it's whether it's even just like, you know, feeling attractive or magnetism or weight loss or body, like you need self-concept to achieve anything. And so if you're just affirming for like your desire, like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably why it's not working, because that's not even the way that you get that. And so, yes, I love this. Please keep going. I'm obsessed.
And even, like, I think the biggest thing, too, changing the limiting belief on, like, my genetics.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my gosh, like, my cousin and my brother, you know, like, we had this, you know, diagnosis, and it's like really affected us, and and so I think like breaking away from the belief of like, this is genetic, like this is my body, this is how my body is, this is how my genes are, like, blah, blah, blah. That was probably that was like probably the biggest hump, like limiting belief hump I had to get over.
Because that's
ingrained in me.
Yeah, it's like it's brain. Part of her family also. Yeah. And so it's really hard to, disidentify from something like that, and to feel like you have control over your own genes and over these diagnoses that feel like identity labels. I know that, you had opened up to me also that, you thought that you would have epilepsy for the rest of your life, because that's just what your brother and your cousin have basically dealt with, it as well, right? Because it's been genetic. And imagine, guys, imagine the power of these teeny tiny little things called affirmations, and obviously the compilation of other techniques we did, that I want to encourage and empower so many people, that I even want to share this little science experiment for 2 seconds. Like, I know that you love these sciencey things, so I want to like chime this in. I feel like this is the perfect place to put it. So there was a beautiful study that came out of Harvard. Okay, so credible institution, I like to think. And so when it comes to Harvard, we took pianists. Okay, now this is not a health experiment, but this is an experiment to show that the brain knows no difference between a real or an imagined event through mental rehearsal. So what we did is we took pianists and we put these brain map scanny things on their brains, and we tracked what parts of their brain lit up when they were playing the piano. Okay, very easy, simple science experiment. We put them in the room, we put the brain maps on them, they played the piano, certain parts of the brain lit up. Okay, great, awesome, wonderful. Part 2 of the experiment, we take the pianist out of the room. We take the piano out of the room. We bring the pianist back into the room, and we tell them, I want you to sit down and mentally play it. In your mind, mentally play the piano. And what we found was absolutely incredible. The same exact parts of the brain lit up. And this proved the brain knows no difference between a real or an imagined event. Now, why this is so life-changing, and I really hope that this lands for you guys, like how profound this is that you consciously know, if you're that pianist, you're not dumb, you're not stupid, you know there is no physical piano here. You're not like, not cognizant of that. You're like, there is no piano here. And you're just doing it in your brain. And you know what I mean? You're creating that experience for yourself. And isn't it just wild that the brain, the most intelligent part of our whole body, did not know the difference between a physical piano being there and it not being there, even though you knew it. You knew it, but the brain didn't know. And so when you're doing your affirmations, your visualizations, your meditations, whatever it is, and it feels like, maybe a little bit fake, or maybe a little bit superficial, or maybe just a little bit not believable, do it anyway. Your brain does not know the difference. It is just you and your own self-imposed judgment that is throwing this whole manifestation off. Because think about it, going back to what I said, the number one place that I see people fail, and I'll put that in like air quotes, is so many people are not willing to do the work for a long enough period of time without the need for a pat on the back or like the external, showing themselves. And if you can hold out that faith, if you can continue to show up and do your part, remarkable things will happen in your life that are just unexplainable, that you would have never been able to achieve with the hard work, with that hustle and grind, because everything is a subconscious program. And that means that everything has the potential to be changed, provided that you can mentally get behind it. That is the only limit, is your ability, pardon me, to mentally get behind that of what you want. If you cannot mentally get behind that of what you want, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you know me, I'm the queen of honesty over here. Like, it's just not going to happen, because the law will never exempt itself, nor does it have like discriminatory properties in it where you're going to be the special snowflake that doesn't get, like, you don't have to change your belief. Like, you can have your bad belief and you can have your dream reality also. It's like the price of one is the other. So this is where discipline, consistency, persistence, making sure you're working on the right thing, making sure you're also doing it correctly, you know what I mean? Making sure you have a solid system is important. And I would dare say that is the vast majority of what makes people successful. And without that, it can be very hard to get to where you want to go if you're not aware of how to get there. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just pretend you're walking, you know what I mean? And you're walking 10 miles and you don't have a map and you don't know how to read where the sun is in the sky and east and north and west and south. You know what I mean? You're just going to be roaming. You're just going to be roaming. And so, yes, I love this. Please keep going.
I had got this new doctor. She put me on this medication, and I was affirming and, you know, doing my routine and really kind of upping the ante, because, like, I'm done with it, you know? I'm done with dealing with it. So, after being on the medication for a certain amount of time, you have to have a EEG, which is like a brain exam.
Yes.
And they look at your brain waves, and, you know, everyone's brain waves, or like, you know, normal brain waves are typically, like, there aren't spikes in it. If there's spikes in your brain waves, that's like activity in the brain.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want,
of course,
to show up on the test.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I was visualizing, like a good results. And part of that is you can't sleep much the night before.
Oh, okay.
Because that is a trigger for like seizures.
Interesting.
And so you're not supposed to sleep much. I mean, like, you can sleep a little bit, but the point is you're supposed to sleep during the exam for a portion of it. And they also put like flashing lights in your face and all of that. So I went to my EEG, and they're not necessarily enjoyable exams.
Of course.
So I go, and, you know, honestly, I did not think it went well. Like, I was like, afterwards, I was kind of beating myself up for it. But I wasn't too hard on myself, but I was just a little like, I wish it had gone better, but you know, all will be well.
Yeah.
But I still kept visualizing and, you know, doing my thing, you know. I didn't let that discourage me, you know, and that's like an example of like, you know, the 3D, like, you really can't pay attention to it, even if it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's right in your face, and I get it, like, you know, but it's really just that mental vision and mental, like, battle.
It's a mental fortitude, you know what I mean?
Right?
It really is.
Totally.
It's more of a last man standing type of energy. Like, I really, truly believe it's like a last man standing type of energy. Because think about it. Failure is only possible if you give up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or obviously, like how I
Totally.
mentioned before, if we're not working on the right things or we're doing something incorrectly, like that's the only time failure is even on the table. And so it's important, like success is not always about, you know what I mean? The things that people think.
Yeah.
It's more of a last man standing. And
Totally.
you know, that's where your mental strength is required. And I want you guys to think that she came in here with the mental strength of the Hulk, because we are all human, you know. She developed this over time. She developed it over time utilizing these techniques. And obviously in these programs, I extensively go over, you know, why this is happening, what we need to do about it, how to effectively like get out of it, how to make that not so fun time pass through, you know. And that information is really helpful because I feel like so many people are not educated on how to actually move through that. And so that's where we really, I don't want to say like we try to control the process, but it's like we've really thought every aspect of potholes through and given you like the maximum amount of knowledge, education, and understanding so that you can move through it easier. No one on God's green earth is going to get you a free pass to bypass it. Nobody has a, you know, don't pay your dues and collect $200 and pass go, and you don't have to do the yucky cucky part. Everybody has to do the yucky cucky part. Everybody has to be temporarily uncomfortable for a long-term success. But are you willing to put your ego aside? Are you willing to put your limiting beliefs aside and go all in for yourself for like at least 3 months is what I say. But I say 3 months and then people get results in like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to necessarily take that long. I would say when it takes longer is when you're still married to your bad story, but it's like you want to have your cake and eat it too. And so understand that there are people that literally get results in 24 hours. I know a guy that I've literally worked with that had cancer and a life-threatening blood clot, and he was actually forbidden to work. He came into my one-to-one, and in 4 days, this man goes to his doctor's appointment, gets his blood test, and the lady goes, "You don't have cancer." He's like,
holy moly.
He's like, "Pardon?"
Insane.
He's like, "What?" He's like, "I don't know who told you you have cancer, but you don't have cancer." He's like, "The last time I came here, I had this, you know, thing done, and they said I have cancer." She's like, "You don't have cancer." She's like, "I don't know who said that. It must have been an error or it must have been a mistake." And the life-threatening blood clot he had shrunk by more than 50% in 4 days. Now, in order to get these type of quantum leap results, guess what he did? He took his old story, and what did he do with it, guys? He went, he completely tore that up, and he completely put that in the trash. That was no longer his reality. He let it go, and he let it die. So remember, the people who get super fast, clickbaity type of results, they're individuals that they leave their baggage at the door. And they treat this, like she said, also like a science experiment, you know? I'm open to seeing what are the possibilities when I put my head down and I do this work. Because I didn't go into his brain and change his mind. He had to do that on his own. You know, I can't save you, you know, to get your desire. You have to save yourself. It's just that I give you absolutely everything in the kitchen sink to feel more comfortable and to expedite that, because I've already gone through it 100 million times and I've already helped thousands of other people do it. So I have the process of manifestation down to a science, coupled with the fact we're using science to manifest. So science will always work as long as you work it. You know what I mean? Like just getting, you know, anyone's online like course or workshop or one-to-one doesn't mean that you're a success story. It's what you do once you're in there that defines whether you're going to be successful or not. But I love this conversation. Like I even had a girlie like that did HIV. She was literally born with HIV, and in 30 days she goes to get her medication refilled, and they do her blood panel like usual, and they're like, "You don't have HIV." She's like, "I've had HIV my whole life. I've been born with it." She's like, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have HIV. There's no HIV here. And she comes home and she starts blowing up my phone. And I am just like in awe always of the power of this work. I mean, we even had someone who came in blind and left sighted. And so I'm just like, the power of the mind blows my mind. And even your situation, like I feel like we're just adding cancer to the list and it's like, check.
Yeah.
HIV to the list, check. Blood clot, check. Epilepsy, check. And it's just like, I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with these health results because health success stories, they are my favorite,
Oh my God, yeah.
They're just crazy. It's just so crazy what the mind is capable of. And yeah, anyway, please.
No, absolutely.
Please keep going.
So, I got my EEG done and
it didn't go well.
For my follow-up. And she said, okay, great. Like you're good to go for your license. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like I'll print out the form and then, you're all good to go.
I love it.
And I literally was like, I started crying.
Yeah.
Because this is like, and this was just like last year.
Yeah.
And I had and I'm 26, by the way, just for reference. So I hadn't been permitted to drive for like almost 10 years.
That's
or 10 years. Because I think people get their license at like 15 or 16.
15, you get a permit. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like just everything to me.
Being permitted to drive by a doctor when you have had epilepsy your whole life is the biggest win in the entirety
oh my God, yeah.
of the world. Especially when, even though you felt like it didn't really go well, and it could have gone so much better. And I know that, even after the EEG happened, I know that you still went through the visualization and the affirming and the tapping. And then you were like, I just manifested this. I totally and completely manifested this. And it goes to show like what is once again possible. What is possible with the mind. I keep going back to that piano story. Even that blows my mind, because
oh my God, yeah.
We very much know, we're very much cognizant of how we did or did not do. And yet the brain knew no difference. And when you actually get to see that play out in your reality, holy smokes. Like it just knocks your socks off. It really, really does.
No, and absolutely. And so, yeah, I got my permitted to drive.
Perfect.
And I went home, Ubered home, and I got home and I'm like, I immediately burst into tears and I tell my parents. And my dad, hugged me and we started crying together. It was just really, really sweet. And, because they've seen, me and my brother go through this.
Yeah.
And because I started, when I dealt with it as a kid, I didn't do any different. I thought that was everybody dealt with it.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, of course.
But anyways, so.
Then you go to get your driver's test done.
Yeah, so.
Can't wait.
So I had gotten, one day, I had been, sorry, I'm trying to think of the timeline.
No, you're good.
So, so I got permitted to drive, and then I went to the DMV to take the permit test, which is just a written test.
Yeah.
And so I just went, one day, I just was like, you know what, today's going to be the day. And I Ubered there, and I passed my permit test.
Amazing.
It was kind of random. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my parents.
Okay.
I just was like, whatever. I'm just going to go take it.
Cool, calm, collected.
And I took a little course online, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then after that, there was a little bit of time in between because my doctor had left, moved. So I got a new doctor, And then something happened in their building where like a pipe burst, so I couldn't get in there for a while because I had to meet my new doctor or something. Like,
Got
they
it.
made me do that. And at the DMV, it's like that whole ordeal with the neurologist was like a couple months, and
Yeah.
you have to have a new, like a updated, or I don't know, like your medical form only lasts like however long. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Got it.
But mine had like expired by the time
Got it.
that I had, like, because I passed my permit and I was like, okay, I want to get my license. But
Of course.
at the DMV, they were like, you need a more current medical form or something.
Yeah.
And, so this little hiccup thing happened with the neurologist and, whatever. So I was like, okay, everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
I met the new neurologist. He signed the form, easy peasy.
Love it.
And then I go to take my driver's test. And I posted this in the group. This is just so funny to me.
I love it.
So I go and take my driver's test. And I'm with my dad.
Okay.
And we're like going through, like they take your picture, you have to give them your forms, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like so nervous.
I'm just imagining you like cheesing from like earlobe to earlobe. It's like you just entered this DMV and this is like Disney World. I'm like, it's gonna be today.
So I was so nervous. I'm sitting in, like, they give you a number or whatever, and they call your number. And I'm sitting there next to my dad, and we're sitting like in the middle of the DMV. And I'm fully EFT tapping in front of everyone, and I do not even care who's looking. I'm fully tapping.
I do not give a shit about any of these people right now. This is my world. Y'all are just living in it.
So I noticed there are 3 drive examiners or whatever, or like test examiners. And there's one that seems like really chill. And so I'm like, okay, he is going to be my examiner. He's going to be mine. The other 2 looked like they would be kind of strict.
Yeah.
Or like nitpicky. So I was like, no, he's going to be my examiner and I'm going to pass this. And I'm like tapping and I'm just talking to myself mentally,
Love it.
And so then the guy comes up to me.
I'm obsessed.
He comes up to me and he's like, okay, are you ready to take your test? And I'm like, oh my God, that's insane. And I'm like, yes,
I just decided this 30 seconds ago and here it is.
Literally.
I'm obsessed. Please keep going. I'm obsessed.
So then we walk to the car.
Okay.
I do the test. The test was super easy. I mean, it's just like you drive around for like 5 minutes and you park, nothing crazy. And he's like, okay, like you passed. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, this is like, I don't know. I just think of my younger self. Like she would be so proud of me and so happy, because this is something that she like
wanted for so long.
As a teenager, like wanted for so long. And it's like, I got it.
Yeah.
And I never thought that narrative.
Yeah.
And I created my reality.
Yeah.
The one that I want. And so, I passed, and then they tell my dad to come to the car, and my dad was ready to burst into tears, and I'm like, I couldn't even cry. I was so just overjoyed.
In shock, yeah.
But I also couldn't even believe it, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's crazy.
But yeah, and also, this is probably the biggest thing too. I've been seizure free.
Yeah.
That's like the main picture.
Yeah.
But just the driver's license was like, obviously I've always wanted to be seizure free.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I just...
No more epilepsy. Gone.
No more epilepsy. Done. I deleted it. My body rejects it. My body doesn't let that happen.
I love it. I'm obsessed. Guys,
And,
I
like,
need you to, I just want to summarize things for people that have been like on and off real quick. So like this lovely lady came into like some of our coaching, got like 3 of our courses, got our like journal and stuff like that. She just casually, okay, super casually. Oh, and we have a commenter that's asking, so you don't have any medication, correct?
so I'm actually still on the medication.
Okay.
But I just don't have any
Episodes.
seizure. Yeah, I don't have any episodes.
Yeah.
But that is my next. That's my next thing. That's gonna come into fruition.
I love it. So she has been diagnosed with epilepsy, like genetically, because her family members have had it as well. And then she needs to get permitted by a doctor to be able to drive because she's never had the ability to. So she gets that. Then she just casually passes her permit, casually passes her driver's test, gets her license, and she's just been seizure-free ever since. And not only that, like the work that we do with self-concept and obviously with the other things that we work on as well, because we do get into specifics, but that's only after we have really mastered self-concept 10 out of 10. Because if you haven't mastered self-concept 10 out of 10, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it won't end up working because you need that to be able to be successful, like I said. But I even want to like highlight for 2 seconds, like you've even had other wins, because when you work on self-concept, you're technically working on everything. Like she has manifested, I'm going to sing her praise for her, like so much like male attention. Like she has manifested plenty of male attention and even some like money manifestations ever since doing this work. And she didn't have to say a single affirmation for men or money. But when you work on self-concept, you are technically working on all things. It is the self-concept that is think of building a house. I have my house analogy. Like, that's the foundation. Without the foundation, anything and everything else will crumble. It just has no ability to flourish beyond that if you don't have a foundation or if your foundation is cracked. And so I say to you guys this over and over again because so many people are not educated on the process that allows you to be successful. And without a successful process, guys, like I keep saying, I know you're going to hear me in your dreams also. You need to make sure that what you're working on, you're doing it and doing it correctly, you know what I mean? And that you're working on the correct things. Otherwise, time is just passing and nothing is moving. And so these are so important to make sure that you're fully solid on. Because as we know, change happens as soon as you're able to mentally get behind it. Change happens literally that fast. There are people that do it in 30 days. There are people that do it in 1 day. There are people that even get like their initial movement in their desire in like 1 hour. You know what I mean? Like there are people that do crazy things. I even have a screenshot somewhere in my phone where somebody went through one of the course videos and she's like, as soon as this video ended, within 1 minute, I got contact. And I was like, hell yeah, you did. I was like, yeah, you did. Like there's so many people that even say that in my personal coaching. They're like, Persis, there's just something about when we have like a one-on-one call, like whenever I talk to you, like I instantly get movement after the call. Like I literally just finished a call package with a girly and she goes, I'm going to get some extra coaching because we did a whole call package and we rebuilt her self-concept from the ground up. It was like at a -10 basically. And so by the end of the package, we were able to get her to like a +10, but she also had unfavorable beliefs about her desire. So we kind of needed to be able to be okay to do another round or else her work on that by herself. Because sometimes it's like we have time to do it. Sometimes we don't. Everything, once again, is dependent on your own mind and conviction. And she's like, I'm going to get another package as soon as I get movement from this individual. And as soon as we hung up our last call, this woman texts me within like 10 minutes, I got the movement. I was like, yeah, you did. I was like, obviously, like, was there any other outcome to this? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the success that is just happening, it's overflowing and I'm here for it. I am here for it. Do you want to talk? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
I was just going to say, like, I did manifest, like, other things that with that,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, like
I was gonna say, like, do you
I
want to talk on any of those things? Because those are like so bomb.
yeah. So I had to Uber everywhere for God since I was like 18
Yeah.
up until like whenever I got my license, like sometime last year. And that's, I mean, that is a lot of money. That is not, especially in Chicago. Like, I'm in the Chicago area.
Yeah.
And so it's expensive, you know, and it adds up.
Cool.
And so, you know, once I got my license, I have saved so much money. So much money.
Love it.
But, like, even so, like, things I've manifested other than that with, like, self-concept really, like, running rampant.
Yeah.
I mean, I manifested my ex-boyfriend, who I ended up breaking up with just because I realized that I want something more than that. And yeah, but I've manifested money. I'm currently manifesting a man who I used to talk to, and I met him in Vegas in person for the first time in May. But yeah, just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like specifics.
That's okay.
Oh, well, so when I was in Vegas, a lot of crazy things happened. Like,
okay.
So I went to Vegas to go to this music festival called Lovers and Friends. It's like an R&B music festival. I wanted to see Usher.
Yeah.
And so that got canceled.
Oh.
And not only that, but like my flights got canceled. There was the sink in our hotel, like the sink exploded, and I got refunded for everything. Everything. That's like, which was like, I don't even know. It was like $800 at least. Even though that isn't like, I wanted to go to the concert and, you know, some things weren't perfect, but I manifested some money.
I love it.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Sorry. I'm really excited to be on this call, and I honestly
I'm excited for you.
on this call. But I would seriously recommend to people viewing this. Self-concept totally comes first. Like, I wouldn't even worry about think about what you want to manifest. I would just be like, I am that girl, and I can get whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that has to be first and foremost.
I love it.
I would also say EFT tapping
is incredible.
I recommend it, and I think that it's more impactful than you might think, but I think you'd soon realize that it is pretty great. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Persis, because you have no idea, like, you really have changed my life. And I mean that so sincerely. Like, you really have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. You are just incredible.
Thank you so much. I love what I do. And I literally get lit up by you guys' success. You know, it makes us so happy. It gives us such a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And I'm just so happy for you. You know what I mean? Because what you have done is not small things. These are huge things that are going to completely impact the trajectory of the rest of your life. And now you have a skill set that you can use for the rest of your life. You now know how to do this and do it successfully and quickly. You know, there's two schools of people in our world. They come and they digest and they are like a sponge to all of our knowledge and wisdom, and they take it and they go and change their whole lives. And then there's another school of people who they come in, they do the same thing, obviously, but then they become addicted to it. And then we just end up becoming like life coaches for them, like where we just get into like annual packages now. And we're just like, now we're going to hack love. Now we're going to hack money. Now we're going to hack this. Now we're going to hack that. And it's like, we're just like constantly experimenting expanding, 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 expanding. And it's just like the most rewarding thing in the entire world, because I want to see as many people possibly in my, page community succeed. Like, that is my goal. My goal is, what kind of positive impact can I make on other people? Because I know this work is powerful. I know this work is powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm over here trying to convince you that it's powerful, because it's like, you're not there yet. But I even have to pull that back, because I can't convince anyone of something they don't want to believe. So it's like, we do these lives to help show you the possibility of things. And I love it. Thank you, like, obviously, for all the lovely words. It literally keeps us going. You know what I mean? It literally keeps us going. And I'm just so happy. I'm like so excited to see like what it is that you're going to create next. Like,
and you know what? I forgot to mention this too. I manifested, I don't know, when I was meditating, I also came up with this business idea, which I think I'm going to pursue.
Yeah.
But and I just also want to say, even though I haven't met them, I've heard Kim on your lives too.
Yeah.
I think she's also a queen.
I love it.
And Sam loves it. I don't think he's been on any lives that I've seen, but just tell your parents I say hi, because I think they're really cool too.
They're amazing. I put
And I love that. I love that you're in like a little, like, it's like a family business.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a little family manifestation business. We're all in on it.
I love it. That's incredible.
I love it. I'm obsessed. My dad is like, he's a very shy guy, not when you meet him in person. But he's very much a roaster at heart, like we all are. We just roast each other for a living. But no, it's hysterical, because whenever I pull the camera out, he becomes very shy. So I think the only video I have of him on my page is actually on my Instagram, that I was able to capture like very recently, of just like his voice in the background of a coaching call. And I remember like titling that video, like, when you manifest too hard and now your parents are also manifestation coaches to their bonus children. And it's amazing. Like, it's just so nice to even see, like, obviously all of us, like, we are very devoted to, I feel like this is just like our purpose. Like, this is what we're here to do. Like, this is what we just have such a knack for. And we are literally so passionate about it and so obsessed with it that it's like, this is never going to be something that really fully feels like work to us, because it's so incredible to do. And it's so incredible to have that type of positive impact on someone, whether it's health, money, love, business, anything. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I just love to be able to add another checklist to our success story. I want to ask, I think I know your answer, but I want to ask anyway. So would you recommend this to a friend? Was this worthwhile? Tell me the things.
Oh my God, 100%. Are you kidding me? I love it all. I'm personally, Persis has changed my life. Like, period, point blank. She has changed my life permanently.
Yeah.
And so, I think, I don't know, I always talk about you to my friends anyways, so obviously it's a yes.
I love that I'm part of the group chat, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, I literally talk about you all the time. I'm like, guys, no, like, Persis, her teachings are, I always talk about EFT tapping to one of my friends. And I'm trying to get her to do it, but she's just like not into it. I'm
She's still skeptical.
Out, girl.
She'll come around. She'll come around.
Yeah.
Everyone always does. It just takes them their own time.
Yeah. But I absolutely recommend, and I think that you just are absolutely incredible. You're so intelligent. I love that you incorporate the science behind it. I think that's what really resonated with me when I first saw your videos, and I like that. I'm into that, you know, like the science stuff.
It's powerful.
And you just change lives. Like you probably already know that because like you're just that girl, but you're just incredible, and I think people would be missing out if they didn't learn from you.
I'm obsessed. I love this. I love this interaction. It just makes me so excited for us to like meet in person. Like that's our next manifestation. Because I literally just had dinner with a client that stays semi-locally, like an hour and a half, I guess you can say, away from our home base. And so she literally drove out an hour and a half and had dinner with me, mom, and bro. And she was like, she was so obsessed, and she was the cutest thing in the entire world. But I'm like, I want to do that more often. And I definitely want to, in like the October time, potentially, like closer to my birthday time, do like an in-person workshop where whoever wants to come out is able to come out. And I do have a family member that owns one of the hotels right by the Orlando airport. So I know that I'll be able to get people really good accommodations if they want to fly out, or if they want to road trip it out with their besties, or whatever they want to do. We're going to make like a whole thing out of it. I'm going to do it very like Abraham Hicks style. I'm going to do it very much like there's going to be like a hot seat, and we're just going to have so much fun together. Like that's going to be the main thing. You guys are going to meet the fam. Like it's going to it's going to be so, so incredible. Like we are going to do pre-sales for that like now. So even if y'all want to get in on that, you've got to send me a message, because that is like private link invite only situation, so we can understand how many people we need, what accommodations we need, and it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. But I will let you go, my love. I know I have kept you for a very long period of time, but
no, you're perfect.
I can't wait, because obviously we're still working together in our membership, and I'm sure this isn't the last time I'm gonna see you. So
no, I could never. I love you so much. I
can't wait for the next live, because it's happening. And I'm obsessed. Thank you so much, my love, for all this love and energy.
Thank you. I am so, so grateful for you and your teachings and your family, even though I haven't met them, but I know they're a part of it too. And I'm just really, really exceptionally grateful. So thank you.
Of course. And we are going to have you meet them and myself very soon.
Yes. I'm so excited.
All right, my love. Well, you have an amazing rest of your day, and we will chat soon.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm obsessed. All right, guys. That was an incredible live. Little bit longer, but that's totally okay. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this live. Please do understand, and I just want to address here and now for 2 seconds, not to be a negative Nancy, but like TikTok is doing this new thing where if you're just sitting and watching and not really engaging, it flags the live and puts a timer on the screen for it to shut down. Now, in the past, it gives me like a little image to try to like do some puzzle on the screen to bypass that. But in each and every single instance, I only bring this up because the image nor the puzzle appears for me. So I can't override TikTok's decision if a live is inactive. And I just want to express my emotions and feelings too, without it feeling like it's coming off in a bad way. But when I'm commenting, guys, please like, please comment, please do this. And I don't see you guys doing it for like an hour. Well, it's going to be super hard for me to be able to keep doing these lives. Thank you so much. That's our girly, MC, for coming on. But please, guys, I do say this because I like these lives. I know you like these lives. And so I know I've left this comment in the chat so many times, like, please comment, because once TikTok flags it, there's not a single thing in the world I can do about it. And so if we don't want the lives to stop, we need to engage with it. So many people have told me when I ask, like, why don't you comment? They're like, I just like to hear you talk. And I'm like, that's great, but it's just not good for the platform and not good for us to keep going. Or we can like have our next live at 2 p.m. Oh, it's 11:11. Be our last live. And then we just don't do lives anymore. And that's fine. But either way, I will need the people who join us on TikTok lives cooperation. Otherwise, we have to bring the lives to a respectable end, because I don't want to have to feel like I'm begging you guys to comment on something that's here to benefit you. Like, that doesn't feel good for me as a creator either. I don't want to have to feel like I have to beg people to engage with a live that's here to be of service and to benefit you. So please don't make me feel that way, because that's how it feels. But anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this live. If you want help with any type of health related, manifestation, I recommend one-on-one coaching, because that's where we get more specific with the affirmations, and we have really extreme potent affirmations that has really been the key to all of our success stories. So if that's something that's intriguing to you, please do hit us up in personal one-on-one. Everything's in the link in my bio or in the description box down below, depending on where you're watching this. Pardon me. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And if you have not already signed up, I am redoing my infamous manifestation equation masterclass. This will be the last time it's ever ran publicly, before it just gets archived forever and only taught in my higher ticket programs. And so if you want to learn the method to the madness of how and what is my manifestation process that I use behind the scenes to problem solve people's situations, and also what is the attack plan to conquer that, so that you can learn how to manifest in any area of your life instantly, the manifestation equation masterclass is for you. And so I just want to put that out there to you, that you can also grab that in the link in my bio. You can also grab that in the description or comments down below. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon. I just want to, I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, and I don't want to be, mean or anything. But if these lives are going to continue, I have to repeat myself. You guys have to engage with it. Because even after I have said this whole thing and asked you to engage with it, you're still not engaging with it. So what that tells me then is you just don't like it and you don't want to see it. And that's fine if that's the case. You know what I mean? That's fine. But I'm not going to be able to continue to have it if I don't have that co-participation and cooperation with my audience. Because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to have to beg people to engage with something. It is a new masterclass in the sense that I am running it live. I'm running it live and I'm going through the whole process. And yeah, we're just going to have an amazing time. You're going to have replays. You're going to have the recording access. And it's going to be something that you get to keep and come back to over and over and over again. Obviously, it is, something that I have copyrighted because it is very potent. People have tried to steal it from me. People have tried to copy it off as their own. People have tried to profit off of my process, and I'm not having any of it. So this is why it is only taught inside something that is paid. And this will be the last time you can buy something like this for such an affordable rate, because I polled everyone on all my stories everywhere. What is the price that is going to be okay for you to jump in? Because I want as many people, in all honesty, I want hundreds of people in this masterclass, because this is the last time you're going to see it. It's not going to be here anymore. And everyone kind of agreed on about $100 or less. And so that's what we're doing. And so I hope to see you guys in it. I hope to see you in it because it is really incredible. And having that process alone is something that is super valuable. There are people that have used that process and manifested millions, people who have used that process and healed themselves from life-threatening illnesses. People have used that process and manifested, weight and health things. People who have used that process and manifested love. People who have used that process and manifested $90,000 in their business. I can go on. I have 100 plus, different examples in my head just off the top of it. I don't have a date for when it will be live yet because I'm waiting for enough people to join, and then I will release a date that we will go live in the private Facebook group and do it. And it will be recorded and it will be uploaded so that you will be able to keep it. And yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Love it so much. Thank you for coming out. And I will see, if you want to, more people at 2 p.m. Eastern for our second and last live.